Hi everyone. Today I'm reviewing an incredible book that changed the way I look at women's Muslim life, especially immigrant women in Western society. And the book is Rewriting Islam, Decolonialism, Justice, Contemporary Muslimah Literature by Hasnul Insani Djohar. And I'll give you a quick breakdown of what the book covers and my own reflection as a male reader who didn't understand these issues before. So, Rewriting Islam is written by Djohar, a female author that who really digs into the struggles that Muslim women face, especially immigrant Muslim women in America or Europe. And what makes this book unique is that it doesn't just tell stories. It also looks at these experiences through some fascinating academic lenses. And Johar used theory like food studies, trauma studies, and postcolonial studies to show how Muslim women challenge things like Orientalism, patriarchy, and other form of discrimination. And if you don't know what is Orientalism is, it's basically when Western society stereotype Eastern or Islamic culture as exotic, backward, or oppressive. And Johar's book dives into how Muslim women's writer fights against these stereotypes by telling their own stories and showing their true identities. So, one thing that really stood out to me is how Johar connects everyday things like food with deeper cultural issues. For example, she explores how food can become a symbol of heritage or resistance for immigrant women. So, food isn't just something you eat, it's a way of holding into a culture and identity, even when you're far from home. And the book also brings trauma studies. Johar discusses how trauma, whether it's from leaving home, facing discrimination, or dealing with cultural conflicts, shape this woman's identity. And also, postcolonial theory adds another layer, looking at how former colonial attitudes still affect Muslim women today, especially when they're living in Western country. First one is memory as a trigger for truth and trauma. Johar highlights Abdullah's short story where Siham discovers her family hidden trauma through a photograph of her grandfather. Johar writes the grandfather army uniform is representative of the regime on the one hand, but is also a mask of respectability behind which he hides the sexual exploitation of his daughter. This shows how personal trauma is deeply intertwined with collective history of military oppression and patriarchy, and the paragraph becomes both a personal and political artifact, revealing the layer of violence hidden behind social event. And second one is decolonizing the terrorist hunting license in Halabi once in Promised Land. Johar critiques the metaphor of a terrorist hunting license as a symbol of U.S. surveillance and Islamophobia, and this reflects how anti-Muslim rhetoric enables systematic discrimination and violence, showing the power of literature in exposing this normalized injustice. Third one is decolonizing 9/11 narrative, and Johar examines how Abdullah novel challenged the Anglo-American centric view of 9/11, and this shift the focus from a purely domestic trauma include the struggle of Muslim women facing Islamophobia and anti-Muslim racism in aftermath of global neo-imperialism. And the fourth is food studies. And Johar used Abu Jaber memoir to explore food as a metaphor for identity through dishes like makhlube and baklava. Abu Jaber redefined belonging by empathizing the coexistence of diverse culture rather than assimilation into Anglo-American norms. And the last one is Crossroad, and Djohar analyzed the Bildungsroman by Kaf and Jarar, which explore identity across cultural and religious border. And this novel challenged the stereotype about Muslim women by showing how they negative complex identity within global context, celebrating their agency and resilience. So as a man, I have to admit that I didn't know much about these issues before, and I always thought that how hard could it really be. And but reading this book opened my eyes to just how thought things can be for Muslim women, especially immigrants. And Djohar herself mentioned in the preface that she faced some challenges too, which make her writing feels real and urgent. Yeah. And honestly, I realized that these aren't just a typical woman's issues. They are really important, urgent problems that affect people's life in profound way, from dealing with stereotypes to filling out of a place in society. These challenges aren't as simple as they seem. And and rewriting Islam is more than just a book. It's a call to look deeper and to really listen to the voice of Muslim women. And if you're someone who wants to understand more about social justice, identity, and what it's like to navigate life as a Muslim woman in the West, I highly recommend this book. It's challenging, it's eye-opening, and it's incredibly well written, guys. And yeah, I think that's it. Thanks for watching. Let me know in a comment if you decide to check out this book. Don't forget to share if you found this review helpful. Thank you.